psychoanalytic theory was a philosophy developed by Sigmund Freud that has three aspects to it. The Oedipus complex, id, ego, superego, and how desires, relationships, and childhood events affect the unconscious.
Hi, I'm Rohan.
Hey, I'm Nader.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're going to be discussing the psychoanalytic theory in To Kill a Mockingbird. So, Nick, what do you think of, what's a specific example of the psychoanalytic theory in To Kill a Mockingbird?
Oh, well, a clear example in the beginning of the book, just in chapter 1, is when Dill dares Jim and Scout to go touch the Blue Radley house. And Jim's id takes over, as even though he knows he shouldn't, as, Mr. Radley, Blue Radley's a bad man. He actually isn't, but his id takes over and he goes and does it because he was dared to do it. So here's a quote to prove that. Jim threw open the gate and sped to the side of the house, slapped it with his palm and ran back to us, not waiting to see if his foray was successful. Dylan and I followed on his heels. Safely on our porch, panting and out of breath, we looked back. Lee 15.
Okay, so Nader, what's another example of the psychoanalytic theory?
So I'm gonna read a quote about how when Tom Robinson was escaping jail and how his id overcame his ego and superego. So, okay, here's the quote. They shot him, said Atticus. He was running. It was during their exercise period. They said he just broke into a blind raving charge at the fence and started climbing over, right in front of them. I guess Tom was tired of white man's chances and preferred to take his own. So this quote is a clear example of psychoanalytic theory, mainly because the id overcomes the ego and superego. He really wanted to escape the jail, so he ignored all the consequences and went to it.
Okay, so this next part I have explains the Oedipus complex of the psychoanalytic theory. So this was when the Oedipus complex basically states that a teenage boy always wants to kill his father or possess his mother. So in this quote, Jem is kind of going against his father. So in a way, he kind of wants to kill him, subconsciously though. So I know it's not right, but I can't figure out what's wrong. Maybe rape shouldn't be a capital offense. Atticus dropped his newspaper beside his chair. He said he didn't have any quarrel with the rape statute, none whatever. But he did have deep misgivings when the state asked for, and the jury gave, a death penalty on purely circumstantial evidence. So as I said before, you can see how the psychoanalytic theory is indirectly applied to this quote, by the aspect that all teenage boys want to kill their fathers and rape their mom or possess their mom. So according to Sigmund Freud, Jem subconsciously wants to kill Atticus when he's arguing with him, and it's like he's trying to overtake his father and beat him in an argument. And according to the theory, when Jem is arguing against the death penalty for rape, he's also subconsciously thinking about raping his mother, even though we don't know who his mother is. Maybe that's a void in his life.
So how do you think Scout's unconscious is affected by childhood events?
Well, Scout's desires and childhood events with Blue Radley affected her unconscious, especially in the way that she wasn't scared of him when he came to the French house later on after saving her. So, I also think that through everything Scout did about Blue Radley and involving Blue Radley in her childhood, just making fun of him and going to his house, when he left candies out for her, she unconsciously started to form a small relationship with him, and she became less scared of him, which is why she wouldn't be scared of him when she saw him later on. And also, it would make her more strong in the future, as we saw her character became stronger and more brave.
I definitely agree with you, Nick. I mean, like, I think that Tom Robinson's case also affected Scott's personality and unconscious. Like, it was a childhood event and like it really made her tough and it opened her up to new experiences. Like, for example, when that guy, when someone gave, when someone gave Dill some coke, it was touching. Like, she didn't really expect it. So it kind of toughened her up in a way that she was kind of opened up to new experiences, and this made her like more brave. Like, for example, by the end, she wasn't even like she didn't show the slightest bit of like scare of like she didn't show the slightest bit of you know, like
Like she wasn't afraid of him anymore?
yeah, exactly. She was just like, she didn't show that she was afraid at all. She was just like, oh, well, this man saved me, Boo Radley.
Yeah, she didn't have any fear towards him. Okay. As a side note, I think that the psychoanalytic theory affected the way Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, because she made Boo Radley's character according to her childhood mother, because like her mother had bipolar disease, so yeah, it just affected the way she talked about Boo Radley and described him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Nader. I mean, when an author writes a book, there's always factors that might influence the characters, the plot, the setting, everything around it. And in this case, I think like Harper Lee, her childhood experiences definitely had an effect.
Yeah, buddy.
So I feel that Jem's character is greatly changing through a psychoanalytic lens throughout this book. Like there are many examples of this through Oedipus complex and just how his desires affect his unconscious.
So Jem is always like talking back to Atticus and challenging him throughout the book. And this like mentioned before, this shows like the Oedipus complex, that Jem wants to overcome his father Atticus. He wants to like take him over, take control. So he challenges him by starting like a bunch of like new games and trying to act as the leader. And he commands Dill and Scout lots of times to try and become like the leader and take control. So this just like shows that he subconsciously wants to kill his dad.
I agree, Nick. I think that Jem's character is definitely changing through that sort of aspect. Like the Oedipus complex is really like playing a role in this book.
So yeah, also because so the psychoanalytic theory, it says like how childhood events and like desires and relationships, they affect the unconscious. Well, Jem's desire to meet Boo Radley in person affected his unconscious, resulting in him changing the way he thinks and like acts. Like, for example, he becomes more brave and starts to lie to Atticus. Yeah, in like a lot of occasions, and like he doesn't fear Atticus anymore.
Yeah, I agree, Nader. I mean, like, I think he's doing this subconsciously though, because if he was thinking this while doing it, it wouldn't really apply to his theory. But I think he's doing it subconsciously. He doesn't really realize he's doing it.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I agree with all of this. How you can see the psychoanalytic theory, the part about the Oedipus complex shown in To Kill a Mockingbird through Jem and all the characters.
I'm Rohan.
I'm Nader.
And I'm Nick.
And
And we're the Psycho Mockingbird.